and at one point I spent hours and hours on what is longevity, what is the actual like a wholesomeness in health, etc. And now this is an opportunity for me to share whatever I have learned with you all. Now, longevity depends upon not just the lifespan, the importance lies in the health span. The aim is to make sure that we have disease-free years, and senescence is the biological process of aging without increasing the mortality. How long people have lived, this is just the numbers. How far the quality of life is there is anybody's guess. The oldest person is 122, and women superseded men in the people who live long enough. But are we really adding years to our life, or are we adding life to our years? That's the main part of my discussion today. Modern medicine has quite nicely extended the life expectancy. Whether the mortality has reduced, whether the advancing drugs have given us the quality of life is the question we are discussing today. Increasing longevity comes at a cost. There is no point in somebody living, say, 120, but the last 30 years they were all like bedbound, which is not very useful for the community, not useful for the individual also. There are lots of pro-aging factors, which you can see here, where the patients have got the things like stem cells and hormone decline, accumulation of the cellular damage as we age, and increased inflammation. So these are the main things which makes a person to get older. And what we can do to influence this longevity is try to see how we can modify the non-modifiable factors, and also see how we can modify our lifestyle, our food intake, how to control the stress and various lifestyle changes. I'm just going to run through the daily practices which we can instill into the life to see whether that makes any big difference in the life longevity. The first thing which I wish everybody to give a try is waking up without an alarm. It's a big ask. It's sometimes quite impossible on a day if you're having a morning clinic or a theater or something going on. But you can achieve this only if you go back to your bed at quite good time, and you have a good repetition and regularity in going to bed and getting up at the same time every day. A lot of reasons behind this. Again, I will try to add some evidences in every slide so that you can see that there is some evidence behind every sentence, whatever I'm saying. The importance is sleep is the time where our body recuperates and tries to repair all the senescent cells throughout the day. Whatever we have accumulated throughout the day, sleep duration gives the body to make all the scavenging effect and all the autophagy effect. By waking up before your body actually wakes up by using arm, we are making ourselves quite unprepared, and that's where the stress will get accumulate day by day, year by year. And you can see sometimes if you are waking up by arm, you will feel so tired, and when you go back to the sleep, that second cycle of sleep if you have may not be as good as the first one. And then caffeine. Most of us are quite used to have coffee in the morning. I used to drink it for many decades, and I used to have coffee with milk and sugar, etc. And I hope that whatever I eat or drink, I can easily burn it throughout the day by being more active. The problem is not just the calories what we take, the problem is what time of the day we take the calories. That's very important. So the evidence is adenosine. Adenosine is a chemical which we slowly accumulate throughout the day, and once it gets beyond a certain limit, that gives you the tiredness. That's the reason for the mid-afternoon slumberness or making you to sleep late in the night. What happens is, if we have a coffee early in the morning, the coffee blocks the receptors which adenosine fights to work. So that's what gives you that early morning, kind of a very nice awakening morning and very nice freshness. But the adenosine in the body is still lingering around, and if you are able to keep the freshness with the help of a coffee in the morning, by around mid-morning when the coffee's half-life is down, then this adenosine will creep in, make you to have one more coffee at mid-morning, and that continues into the mid-afternoon, evening, etc. So if you are able to spend maybe initial 2 hours without coffee, you can have a breakfast directly, that will help your body yourself to metabolize all the adenosine so that you won't be having that craving for coffee in the mid-morning or later in the days. And next one is the cold shower. Quite difficult, especially in a country like ours, but it has got a lot of evidence behind that. I'm sure most of you are quite interested in exercise, spending the calories and making enough steps in a day, etc. But there is something like bank investment. So what happens in the bank if you make a very intelligent investment, like for example mutual fund, your money works for you. So like that, how this cold shower works is, it creates a type of fat known as brown fat in the body. Brown fat is quite good in spending all the energy what we are accumulating over the day and over the years, and so it will help us to easily attain the correct body mass index or whatever you are aiming for. If you see, I'm sure all of you may be researching and learning about these lifestyle changes. There are lots of snaps on like have a good sauna and then go for a ice cold bath. And this is the reason why the ice cold bath is also quite good for recovery for those who are having a good tennis match and big players, etc. But how we can implement in our day? You can't have ice cold bath every day. You can't fill your bathtub with ice every day, which is not economically possible. The easiest way is, after your shower, you can have your warm, good shower as normal. Just try to spend maybe 15 seconds, 30 seconds, 1 minute, 2 minutes, gradually increasing and train yourself with a coldness. As much cold as you can and as much longer seconds or minutes as you can. That will help you to build good amount of brown fat, and brown fat is absolutely protective against any atherosclerosis or stroke or CVA, etc. And that's the easiest way to produce a good amount of brown fat which will work for you when you are not doing your cardiac exercises. There are a lot of evidences on improving the brain function, and I come across this article where how we can medically use ketamine in improving the brain function or changing how the brain works. So what happens with ketamine is it literally regulates the cortical function and the usual path in the brain. Like for example, most of us are right-handed, most of us wish to walk to a hospital through a specific staircase or use a specific lift. We try to enter the hospital and turn left and turn right in a specific manner. We have our own pattern. These age-old patterns will be neutralized by the ketamine medication, and that gives a person a very good opportunity to get out of the age-old bad practices, if at all, if they are having. I'm not a proponent of any supplement. So what I mean is, the meditation works by the same way how the ketamine works. So if somebody is able to do the meditation instead of just selling the meditation as a friend, I want to see how the meditation works as equivalent to the medications like ketamine. Again, physical exercises, simple exercises like spine stretch. Spine is the most important organ which gets the longevity and wholesomeness in the health. So something like a simple spine twist, forward, backward bending, simple spine exercises just for 4 to 5 minutes. I'm not giving a long exercise regimen of like going to the gym 3 to 4 days a week, etc. I'm trying to give some very simple tips which will make some big effect in the body. So these two positions, say for example sitting down and being in this jump start position just for a minute in the morning will take care of the whole hip and knee problems throughout the life. We won't give importance to all these small positions in our life. So when you're doing the morning stretch, just try to see whether you can incorporate these kind of positions. Mindfulness in meditation, reading, music or video, whatever you're doing, just try to do that bit in a longer manner. Like next 15 minutes, I'm just going to talk to my daughter, talk to my son, and nothing more than that. Next 30 minutes, try to build up slowly this practice of mindfulness. And now I'm going to the real stuff where Sohail also has got a lot of interesting things in this. Skip the breakfast. Gone are the days where people used to say that eat like a king in the breakfast time and then slowly reduce your food intake. Breakfast is absolutely useless, especially if you're taking Especially if you're taking a toast and cereal-based breakfast, that's not only useless, it's quite harmful. So breakfast, as the name itself says, we are breaking our fasting. We are all fasting every day. We are all fasting during the sleep. I'm sure nobody will get up in the night to have a smoothie or etc. Maybe you have some water. And so that beautiful fasting period where you build up all the autophagy and good amount of antioxidants are going to be broken whenever you take anything with calorie. It could be a coffee with sugar or any breakfast, even if it's a proper protein-rich breakfast, whatever you say. And the only thing acceptable is maybe like a black coffee or tea where there is no calories at all, plenty of water in the morning, and if at all you can't skip breakfast, try to make it a very savory breakfast rather than the sugar or the sweet-based breakfast. Try to skip the breakfast in a very gradual manner. Say for example, you always have something like a toast with a jam or butter in 7 o'clock in the morning and start for your job at 8 o'clock. Take the same sandwich in your hand and try to push it to 8:30, push it to 9 o'clock, push it to your mid of your morning session like mid-clinic or something like that. Try to push your breakfast as late as possible. It's quite difficult. When I practiced it, it took almost like, I will say easily painful 6 months and okay another 6 months to get it completely off the breakfast, and that made a very big difference. The body will cheat us by giving a lot of hungerness. You can get palpitation, you will get sweating, you feel as if your morning session is not going to run and you're going to get slowed down. All the drama will happen. But if you persist, your body will know that, okay, this guy is not going to feed me the breakfast, so there is no point in creating all these alarm signs, and then slowly it will settle down. And then the best food time is 12 o'clock to 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Our digestion has direct relation with the sun's phase. So whenever the sun is at the maximum potency, sometimes in UK it's like 4 o'clock in the evening or 5 o'clock in the evening. So that's where the food will get digested, and you will get a kind of a very good satiety, and the digestion will be at the best. And that's the best time for digestion, and enjoy food without any distractions, and enjoy in hand if you are in home at least, and prevent that will prevent a lot of food intolerances. So your best food should be the lunchtime or the late lunchtime food. And fasting, again, a lot of you may know about the fasting, many of you may be practicing here and there, and I'm sure Sohail will add more on his presentations. And diet is one of the largest factor affecting the longevity and healthy aging, and fasting is a very, very key thing in that. After the fasting, there are various methods, like for example, the fasting could be like you can have a 24 hours fast once in a year, you can have 3 days fast like once in 6 months, or you can have like a weekly 1 day fast, monthly 1 day fast. There are a lot of religious reasons for also fasting. The other way is just incorporating fasting in your day-to-day routine, like for example, skipping the breakfast, have to try to have a earliest possible dinner, so that if you finish your dinner say around 6 o'clock or 7 o'clock in the evening, that gives you a very nice fasting phase throughout the evening and night. And this slide clearly says that what are the changes happening with the fasting, and if you see the maximum the outcome or the good output starts if you are able to fast after 72 hours, if you are able to extend it to 72 hours. Of course, this should be done with caution. Those who are diabetic, for example, you need to take appropriate medical advice, and it's better to do it with appropriate guidance. And these are all the antioxidants. On the left side are all the replacement medications where you can buy them in the supermarket or in the pharmacies, and everything is coming in a packed one, while on the right side is the same equivalent available in the natural food. So how we can take the natural food and get the same antioxidants what we are supposed to get with the supplements. And workouts, again, the one thing which is very well proven is the high intensity interval training. There is again no need to go to the gym to do these kinds of well-planned, programmed workouts. If you're walking from point A to point B, maybe for 30 minutes, just try to walk as fast as possible, just for 1 minute, and get your heart rate as high as possible, and then walk in a relaxed manner for next 5 minutes. Again for 2 minutes, try to get your best heart rate. Your expected heart rate during this high intensity interval training is something like 60 minus 220. So 60 minus, sorry, age minus 220. So based upon your age, you should be able to have a good heart rate. What's happening in this high intensity training which you're doing properly in the gym or in your day-to-day walking or even climbing up a staircase, just 3 flights of staircase, just climb as fast as you can in one flight and then go slow. The rest periods in this high intensity workout is very important. That's where we are giving enough time for the muscles and bones to recover itself, and that is where the main fruit of the outcome is. So there is no point in having a continuous strenuous exercise. You should have an appropriate break in between. These kind of high intensity workouts in the short duration create what is known as salvageable, completely repairable micro tears in the muscles, and it creates a kind of a micro tears in the tendons. That micro tears creates a kind of a stress in the body, and your body is like your car or like any of the instruments which you use for your day-to-day life. And the body starts thinking that, okay, this person is going to give me this kind of strenuous challenges on and off, so I need to prepare this instrument as good or as strong as needed. So that was makes your muscles and bones and tendons stronger. It prevents maybe future fractures, etc. And it also gives us the stem cell regeneration. Complete as much of your work as within the day. It's very difficult. I try my best. I try to answer all my emails. At least my secretary will know what I'm doing. I will try to do as much of emails as possible throughout the day. If anything spills out, try to do it in the next day, and have a weekly cleaning regimen on maybe like a Friday afternoon session and a monthly cleaning regimen in one of the month-end week. And then no food after sunset. As I said, digestion depends upon the sun. Once sunset, the digestion is not at its best. That's where the food intolerances or getting a kind of indigestion feelings, everything comes into place. So we started with waking up early. That will happen only if we sleep early and sort to keep it at the correct time. So healthy lifespan is very important. That is the lifespan minus morbidity, and I hope we have good reduction in the morbidity, making the whole lifespan into a healthy lifespan. Lots of investigations, studies happened on this information theory on the aging, and I'm just trying to give you like a taster of it. We can have much more sessions on the well-being in the future. And this is the summary, and wish you all the best health.
Yeah, we have time for a couple of quick questions.
Hello. Fantastic talk. I wish my son was here because he's making my monthly expenses go very high with organic foods and things. You know? He also tells me about the blue zone, the Wim Hof, who is the ice cold man. You must have heard from Dutch and things. I wanted to ask you a question. Do you do any on-calls? Sorry, I was going to ask you the different question altogether. Do you think this doing shift duties, the night on calls, for all the time we have been the junior doctors and even now being called as a consultant, do you think that changes our metabolism and all these things we can follow what you have said on the screen?
Yeah. I understand the point that it's very difficult to maintain early to bed, early to rise, etc., and maintain sleep hygiene when you're on call, especially if you're on a junior rota, etc. But that's part of our climbing up into the higher positions, and hopefully at one point, the life will be more friendlier, and we should be able to have a manageable on call. And all these things will take time. It's not easy. For example, if you go to bed early, first of all, even your son or your daughter will be asking, what happened to you? Are you feeling well? Are you feeling what's happening? So this should happen more, not only individually, it's more of like a team game. The family should support you, and that's how it happens. Yes, sir.
I don't agree with a lot of what you said.
Yeah, there is a lot to discuss here.
I'm sure you won't be surprised. With regards to the shift workers, there's actually very, very good evidence that people who are shift workers die earlier. an increased risk of cardiovascular.
The night shift ones, usually.
They all get ED, which is my particular area. But in addition to that, if you look at what's actually killing us across the world, especially in the Western world, it's diabetes. And the thing that actually protects you more than anything else from diabetes is muscle mass. There's actually a lot of evidence that actually if we increase our muscle tone, we stave off some of these effects of aging and some of the effects of diabetes and obesity. So what we should really be thinking about is increasing our protein intake. I know as stone surgeons we don't like to hear that, but actually if you look at the people we see coming in with recurrent stones who are stone formers, they're not bodybuilders, they're not athletes. These are people who eat processed foods and are unhealthy and overweight. So that's what we should be addressing ourselves. With regards to going to bed early, everyone knows that I switch my phone off after a certain time. We can all do that. I can't do that when I'm on call, unfortunately, but we can all do that, and it's looking at tweaking small things in the evening, making sure the light's off, making sure we get rid of all our electronics from our room. That's something I'm constantly working on. I'm not very good at that. I leave the TV on. But these small tweaks that we can all do is going to make us all healthier. I think if you're looking to exercise, you should be doing resistance training more than the HIIT. The HIIT is not, it definitely has its role, but if you're only going to do one thing, lift weights, and it doesn't have to be complicated. Lift weights, increase your protein intake, walk, and get plenty of sunlight. That's what's going to save us all from all of us getting diabetes. Most of us in this room are going to get diabetes, unfortunately. This is how we stop it happening. It's true. And it's not all, diabetics aren't people who are overweight. It's people who are low muscle. That's what's affecting us. That's my piece done.
On that,
Just a quick addition. The young lady is wrong. She said we all have it. We don't know that.
I think we have to draw that bit to a close. I think we can go on debating that for a while. Thank you, Mrs. Anashekharan.